Howdy folks, quick bonus video for you. You may be aware, you may not, that on the public test server, although not right now because the current test session has concluded, but while it was up we were able to get a preview, a teaser if you like, of what is most likely going to be one of Wargaming's Christmas presents for World of Warships players. We're going to have the opportunity to unlock a Tier 10 battle cruiser, or, large cruiser if you're the US Navy. Sister ship to the USS Alaska, it's the USS Puerto Rico. And it's unlocked in a new feature, the Dockyard, and it is incredibly cool. As the name Dockyard might suggest, you actually have to build the ship, and it's an ongoing project. It's not something that you can reasonably expect to complete overnight. You're building a battle cruiser after all. But there are various different ways that you can speed up the construction. And there are additional rewards that you can earn beyond the actual ship itself throughout the various different stages of the construction process. So to begin with, you have a dry dock, and we've just constructed the ship's keel, and at the moment I'm earning 202 construction points per minute, and that happens whether or not I'm present. It doesn't matter whether I'm sitting here staring really hard at the dry dock. In fact, it doesn't even matter whether I'm logged into the game or not. That construction is going to continue. Now, if I was to just let the ship continue construction like this, it's obviously going to take a long time, but there are a number of things that you can do to speed up that construction process and increase the number of points that you're generating per minute. You get the first one for free, others can be unlocked by either spending gold or by spending the shipbuilding tokens that can be earned either through daily shipments, completing shipbuilding directives, and daily missions. So as you'd expect, if you want to move things along quickly, you can just throw gold at the problem, but if you don't want to do that, you can just play the game and earn shipbuilding tokens that will do exactly the same thing through completing missions and directives. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our first free shipbuilding boost. We're going to construct some sheds for additional storage of shipbuilding materials, and you can actually watch them being built. And you can also directly see how it affects the construction of the ship as you watch the transverse and longitudinal bulkheads being fitted around the ship's citadel. We've also managed to slightly increase the number of shipbuilding points that we're earning every minute. We're up to 209. Not a lot, but it was a free boost. But even that tiny little boost of an extra 7 points per minute adds up to not far short of 13,000 extra points per day. So you can see that the earlier you boost the number of points that you're earning per minute, the bigger the effect that it's going to have overall. And we've also unlocked a couple of additional rewards, some signal flags there. Next, because it's the test server and it's not my gold, we're going to throw 1,000 gold at the shipbuilding process and appoint Henry Kaiser as the Chief of Enterprise. He was a real person, by the way. He was a shipbuilding magnate during World War II who converted huge stretches of unused American coastline into shipyards. And his shipyards churned out dozens of escort carriers and liberty ships, amongst other things, every day. Appointing Henry Kaiser to oversee our construction has completed a number of stages. The bow and the stern plating has been slotted into place, and now we're installing the citadel armour plating. It's also increased the number of points that we're generating every minute up to 313, which means now we're generating almost an additional 160,000 construction points per day. We also have a few additional rewards to collect, so let's go ahead and do that. And because we completed multiple stages for the 1,000 gold that we spent to appoint Henry Kaiser as the Chief of Enterprise, those rewards just keep flooding in. We're looking at 10,000 free XP, a whole bunch of flags, multiple containers, a whole bunch of coal, all kinds of good stuff. Right. The amount of gold that you can actually throw at the construction of the ship is limited. You can't just buy the ship by throwing gold at it, but we're going to do as much as we can. Here's another 1,000 gold. Improved logistics for another 1,000 gold. Straight away that's 6 million construction points and an extra 138.8 points per minute. Again, multiple construction stages complete. We've installed the engines, dynamos, other engine room equipment, the propeller shafts and the screws, the support structures of decks and their armour plating. We've installed the boilers, the support structures of the decks, various different bulkheads within the ship, installation of rudders and the armoured covers of the steering machines, and we're finishing off by laying the armoured deck from the stern all the way through the midships and right up to the bows of the ship. We're now at 452 construction points per minute. That's an extra 360,000 points per day. And for completing these stages of the ship's construction, we've been awarded 4,000 coal, 7 shipbuilding containers, and 10 hydroflags. Now, there's only one further dose of gold that we can throw at this problem. From here on in, we're relying on the number of points that we're generating every day, and any additional boosts that we unlock through shipbuilding tokens. So I'm going to go ahead and install additional electric power plants for another 1,000 gold, and this has pushed us over the limit where we can actually launch the ship. It's now fully watertight, its engines work, it's got rudders, it's got steering equipment. It's by no means complete, but we've done enough that we can actually launch the ship and move it to the fitting out jetty. That boost has bought us 7.5 million construction points and an additional 173.6 per minute, bringing the total up to 626. And that means that we're now generating just over 900,000 construction points every day. So you can kind of see the benefits to boosting the amount of points that you're generating early. We've only been here 5 minutes. We've already launched the ship. We're fitting the gun turrets. We're fitting the superstructure. We're fitting the secondaries. And the 3,000 gold that I've so far thrown at the ship, none of which was actually mine, of course, because it's free. I'm on the test server. But it hasn't just boosted the ship's construction. Remember, for each completed stage of the construction process, that gold is actually also buying you rewards in the shape of coal, free XP, premium signal flags, shipbuilding containers, and I'm pretty sure I also saw a permanent New Year camouflage for the ship upon completion of its construction as well. Which, and I'm only guessing here, because the ship isn't complete, so I can't see what it looks like, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if it didn't end up looking something like this. So that was it for day 1 in the construction of the USS Puerto Rico on the test server. I came back the next day to see how things had progressed in my absence, to find out that the funnel trunking and the majority of the construction of the upper deck and superstructure was complete, and I'd also been awarded an additional bunch of signal flags for doing nothing. This happened when I wasn't even there. So again, I did absolutely nothing. Came back the next day. This was the final day that the test server was up, to find that the funnel caps, all of the air defence gun tubs, and the hangar caps had been installed, and I'd also been given an additional 5,000 free experience. Once again, for doing absolutely nothing. I could, of course, been playing games on the test server, completing directives and missions, and earning shipbuilding tokens that would have allowed me to boost construction even further, but I think by now you've pretty much figured out how this all works. I think this is an incredibly cool and unique way of introducing a new premium ship to the game, and I definitely want to see them doing more of this sort of thing in the future. And I hope you've all enjoyed this little teaser of the sort of thing that you can expect to see. Yes, Akazuki, I know, it's very exciting. Try to calm down. She's so excited about the new Puerto Rico and the Dockyard feature. But yes, I hope you've all enjoyed this little teaser of the sort of thing that you can expect to see in the next patch for all the warships when it goes live. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.